Hello. So this is my video just about just a short video about eating disorders and my personal experience with an eating disorder, and just a few questions that I kind of wanted to answer for the Invisible Battles documentary. The first one is how I wish people understood the struggle of having an eating disorder. I think one really big misconception is that it's just a diet, and a lot of people don't understand how that even, because I know that people with eating disorders come in all different shapes and sizes. And for me, I'm of a normal weight, and a lot of people don't understand why, why would you have this, why do you think you need to lose weight? You're fine, you look great, blah, 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 you're fit, you're whatever. I think it's the big misconception, at least in my own life, is that it's all about the food. That it's, that they don't understand how I could see myself the way that I see myself. And I really wish that people understood that it is a constant battle, not with just food, but with my own self-worth and how I use food to calm, like the anxiety in my head, or to feel better about who I am as a person. And a lot of people just don't get how the deep psychological issues behind having an eating disorder. What it's like having the voice of an eating disorder in my head. Um, it's I almost feel like schizophrenic sometimes. I feel like there's like this other part of me, and it's like this voice always in my head saying, "You're fat, don't eat that. How many calories does that have? How much fat is in that? You're gonna get fat if you eat that. Blah, 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 blah. How many calories are you burning?" Like, it's a constant, like, racing voice in my head, and it consumes everything, that I can't hardly think about anything else. And every aspect of my life has to be dictated by, um, am I gonna be, can I avoid eating this, or can I burn it off later, or how am I gonna get thinner, how am I gonna lose weight? Like, that's all that voice cares about. And it's hard because it's like you kind of lose yourself because you don't really know what's you don't know what's the eating disorder after a certain point. um, and it gets really frustrating to be able to try to live a life normally, and to try to be able to live a life without always thinking about food and losing weight and burning calories and counting calories. And it's really, really frustrating. How it will help other people know how to react to people with eating disorders. I really think this documentary is very, very helpful. I'm a psychology major, and even just learning about eating disorders in school, they don't, they're like, oh, well, anorexia is restriction and bulimia is binging and purging. And I really think a lot of people don't understand that there is a wide overlap, and it's more so on a continuum of behaviors. And I really think, and they think it's all about the behavior. It's all about, oh, well, if you starve yourself and you weigh 80 pounds, then you're anorexic. Or if, you throw up your food, you're bulimic. They don't understand, and, and they're like, why, that's so stupid, why would you do that? And so I think this documentary is going to be very, very helpful to help people understand the psychological torment behind it. Like, it's not just, and I mean, it is an obsession, but it's not just an obsession. A lot of people with eating disorders have other psychological illnesses. Not all of them, but a lot of people have depression, anxiety, bipolar, borderline. They have these things that are behind it, that the restricting or the binging or the over-exercising or whatever the behavior is for that person, that it's medicating. And there are deep-rooted issues behind it. And not everyone has gone through like trauma or anything like that, but there's some issue for every person that struggles with an eating disorder, that I think a lot of people really need to understand. And they need to understand the entrenchment of the obsessions in a person's life, that it's not just they can just stop it whenever they want to. So I really think that knowing how people think, not just what they're doing, but knowing why they're doing it, is really going to help people, help family members be able to help their loved ones, help psychologists, nutritionists, anyone who ever comes in contact with a person with an eating disorder. I really think that's really going to help. And then in my own personal life, what it looks like for me, you probably got a glimpse of it through what I've already said, but I am in recovery now, but it's really hard still to be able to not always think about what am I going to eat next, how many calories does it have, how much fat does it have, is it going to make me fat, am I eating too much, am I eating enough, am I going to get to the gym, am I going to be able to burn it off, or if I, or even as disgusting as thinking about my bowel movements and being obsessed with that and being like, oh my gosh, if I don't have the bowel movement today, then I'm going to get fat. And then I'll want to take laxatives so I can get everything out of me. It's entrenching. Like I can't live my life without thinking about it. And it gets easier as I try to fill my life with other things, but it's very, very hard, and it takes so much work to not think about it. So, I mean, if I were to ever tell anybody anything about having an eating disorder, I would say don't even mess with dieting. Just don't. Like, I know it's so hard, especially in the Western society where it's so entrenching, where everyone's like, you gotta lose weight, you gotta be this, you gotta be that, and it's just like, it's just not worth it. It really isn't. Because I think, and it's not just the dieting, but for me personally, that's what started it for me. So I guess it would just be like, just don't even start dieting. Learn how to give your body the nutrients it needs, but don't go the obsession of counting calories or, over exercising or anything like that, because it's just not worth the risk. Obviously not everyone who diets gets an eating disorder, but it's just not worth the risk of living a life every day, of not being able to live your life without thinking about, what you're going to eat, and the overwhelming fear of getting fat, whatever that really means. So I guess that's just how it looks for me. Like, I really just don't live a life without thinking about food or exercise or the fear of gaining weight, and just the overwhelming, just the battle between wanting to be healthy, wanting to be thin, knowing I need to be, like, eat a certain amount of food to be healthy, but not wanting to eat, and it's always hard. It's like I'm always at a battle in my mind, and it's frustrating because it's just no way to live. So that's what I would say about my own life and about understanding eating disorders. I really think it's something that people need to understand and really take the time to learn about. And really, if you know someone, I really think that you need to give them the space to be able to explain what they're talking about, not just assume because you've heard the statistics or you've seen a celebrity on TV who said they had an eating disorder to know, because there's really probably a lot more to it than you understand. So anyways, so there's my input. So thank you for listening.